and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin, and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. Today's video is going to be my first Project Pan update for 2024. So let's go ahead and get into it. First, I am going to go ahead and link you to my intro to my 2024 Project Pan up in the cards. This year I am doing a 24 in 2024 Project Pan. I will not be replacing empties as they come about. My goal is just to use up these 24 specific products. And I'm happy to say I do have an empty to share after only 1 month, which is very exciting. But let's just go ahead and start at the top and run through everything. The first item in my Project Pan is this Briogeo Blossom and Bloom Volumizing Root Powder. It looks like this. Now I realized into the month that I had misdrawn the line on this, so I don't actually know how much progress I have in the month. I've gone ahead and redrawn the line for February, so this is the current and correct line. Obviously, I've used this 7 times, so there is a bit of a change, but this product settles very crooked in here, so it took a lot of tapping and getting it to settle down to find the actual spot. So it wasn't correct in the first video, but it should be correct from here on out. The next item is this Pacifica Vegan Silk Blowout. This is a hair primer. I did not use this at all in January because I was working on finishing up another hair item from my 10 items to use up before 2024, which obviously did not get used up. So this has been used just 1 time in February, so I'm hoping that I can go ahead and track progress. Right now the product is sitting right up here at the top, so I didn't mark it. It's pretty much full, but I will try to mark it from here on out, and hopefully I can get a decent amount of use out of this in a month to kind of give me a gauge of how long this is going to take. The next item is my first empty of 2024. It is this Oribe Airbrush Root Touch-Up Spray. It looks like this. I used this a total of 10 times in January, and I finished it up completely on January 30th. So this is the first item to be moved out of my collection. I'm very excited. I won't be repurchasing this. This wasn't the right color, but I'm not going to repurchase any kind of product like this anyway. I don't think it really did anything in terms of touching up or covering up any kind of discoloration. So this, save your money. I'm not going to repurchase it. Moving on to body care type items, I have this Versed Backup Plan Acne Control Body Mist. So it looks like this. This has moved hardly at all. So I think you can see where it's sitting just slightly above that line. I used this 9 times and have minimal progress to show. So I didn't redraw the line because it's literally directly above the one that's already here. So this could potentially take a while to use up because, as I said, I did use it 9 times and you really can't even tell. So this one's probably gonna be hanging around for a while. The next item is this Olive and June Heal Balm Overnight Treatment. It looks like this. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it looked like in January. I just held it up against a ruler. And then here's what it's looking like after a month of use. I did use this 6 times, but it's quite a bit of usage. I'm very, very pleased because I do not like this. It's very greasy. And when you use it, it just drips down over the sides. It's very balmy, but it almost turns into an oil. So it's just super messy. I won't be repurchasing this. I will be very glad when this is gone. I actually have been using this on my heels and my hands. So hopefully maybe another month of use will get this out of my collection because this one is just not my favorite, but I am happy that I got some really good progress on it. The next item is yet another one that I did not use in January, and the reason I didn't use it is just pure and simple laziness, and it is the 10/10 nail polish in the shade Shimmer. I did mark this at the start of the year. Here's where it is. I have used it today. You can see my nails are painted, but yeah, I didn't touch this in January. I just pretty much forgot didn't really feel like painting my nails, and it's not even like it's a difficult polish to use. It goes on really easily. So this is another one I'm setting myself a goal of using it 3 times in the month of February. This is the first time, so 2 more times throughout the month should totally be doable. That will give me an idea of how much product I use each time I apply it, so I will be able to kind of better judge how many months it will take to use up. Another item that has no progress on it is this Bite Agave Plus Lip Scrub. It comes in this container like this. I did use this 1 time, but because I only used it once, there's really no progress to speak of. So if you look at it, it still looks like it's full all the way up to the top. So this is another one that's going to be hanging around. I just kind of forgot to use this. So I did use it once in January. I could have used it more times than that. My goal in February is going to be to use this 4 times, once per week, and hopefully at that point I will actually see some progress on the side of the container. Next up is this Amore Pacific Treatment Enzyme Peel. I did use this 4 times in January, and this one does have progress. So I've gone ahead and marked it with this green line here. This was full to the top when I started using it in January. This is really nice. It doesn't do any kind of scrubbing or anything. It just foams up into a nice foamy cleanser. Doesn't dry out my skin. I think it's kind of expensive, so I wouldn't repurchase like a full size once this is done, but it is kind of like a treat to use. I've been using it once per week, and I'm thinking that it'll probably take about 3 months to finish this up. The next item that I have is this Origins Original Skin Retexturizing Mask. This is another one that I did not use at all in January. My skin was incredibly dry, so I was just staying away from a clay mask. It's another one that I had incorrectly drawn the line on. So here is the correct line now at the start of February. I could tell because when I like folded it over, that's obviously where the product was. So I just didn't do it the correct way in January. But this is the correct one, and I will be tracking progress from this one for the rest of the year. I have used this already 1 time in February. My goal will be to use this 3 more times for a total of 4 times, and at that point I will kind of be able to gauge how long it's going to take me to finish this up. I did not put this on my entire face. I kind of kept it on the lower half, which is where kind of my problem areas are. So I didn't use a ton of this, but hopefully I will still see some nice progress with just using it in those targeted spots. Next is my e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. I don't love this. It doesn't do anything for my skin, at least in my opinion, but here's what it looks like at the start of the year. And I did use this 7 times in January, so here is what we are currently looking like. I really don't think there's very much progress at all. I don't use this all over my face. I pretty much just target it like on my chin, on the sides of my nose, and between my brows. So this one is another one that's probably going to be hanging around for quite a while. Ultimately, I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to finish this up. I just would like to get some consistent use on it. So that is the update on this one. Not much to share really, even though I did use it 7 times. The next item is my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector, which I did use 7 times. This had significant pan in it at the start of the year, but here's what it was looking like. And then here is the update. I do feel like the pan has gotten bigger, and I'm very happy with its progress. It's quite thin along the edge on this end here, so I'm just gonna keep kind of chipping away. I use this on my lighter makeup days where I'm not filming, and I'm just maybe running some errands. If I'm not going anywhere, I don't wear any makeup, but this is very nice for those days where I just want to put a little bit of coverage on. This actually brightens up my under eyes quite a bit. I use it solely by itself. I don't put concealer over the top. It's also pretty good at like concealing some spots if you need to, because it's got a shimmer so the light kind of bounces off of them. So that's kind of how I've been using this, and I'm happy that I've gotten a little bit more use out of it. I definitely think this can be done by the end of the year. Now I'm turning my attention to the multitude of blushes that I have in this project. I was focusing solely on my cream blushes in January, so my 2 powder blushes didn't get really any use. The first one is from Benefit. It is the Rockateur shade. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what it's looking like right here. I only used this 1 time in January, so there's gonna be no difference between the photos. It has popped this little hole right here, but there's still plenty of product underneath of it. It was just like an air hole. So this one's gonna be hanging around, but it will be my focus for February because I'm turning my attention towards the powder blushes for February. I just figure I'm gonna kind of bounce between them. Trying to use 5 blushes at a time in 1 month doesn't really work for me, so this month will be the focus for the powder blushes. And then also I have my Too Faced Papa Don't Peach Blush, which is just looking like this. I, again, only used this one time. I did repress it at the start of the year, so this is another one that just has like no progress, so I'm not gonna go ahead and show you any pictures. Now, talking about my cream blushes, however, I am very happy with the progress I've been able to get on these. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the picture right here. I have from left to right the Laneige Two-Tone Blush in Cashmere Nude. In the middle is the Buxom Full-On Lip Color in Las Vegas. And the final one is a combination of 2 Tom Ford shades, Orchid Soleil and Jared. So I'd melted them down into these pans. As you can see, they were quite full, but here is what they are looking like now. So I have pan in both the Laneige and the Buxom shades, and I'm very, very excited about that. The Buxom is actually quite thin, as well as the Laneige. Obviously, there is still a lot of product in here, but I'm just excited that I've been able to see this much progress just in 1 month's use. I did use all 3 of these blushes 8 times each in the month of January, so I think that that's pretty darn good. As I mentioned, I'm going to be bouncing months between the powder and the cream blushes, so you won't see really any use on this again until my update at the beginning of April, but I'm still really happy with what I was able to get used up in a month, and I'm excited because I'm definitely thinking that I'll be able to get these 2 shades done by the end of the year, if not the ones from Tom Ford. That will be exciting on its own because these 2 are my 2 oldest lipsticks in my collection, and it will be very exciting to have them done. Now I am turning my attention to the lip products that I have in my collection, not counting those 3 that I turned into cream blushes. So the first one is from ColourPop. This is an ultra glossy lip in the shade JJ. I did use this a total of 11 times in January, which is very good for me if you know anything about my problems with lip products, and I am very excited because I've used quite a bit of this. So that green mark is where it was at the start of February, and looking at that, I'm thinking this will probably be done in 4 months. So when I do my May update, this should be an empty. Obviously that could change because I already have used it several times in February and I've reapplied it, and I think it's actually kind of sitting right here at this point. But again, 4 months seems like a pretty good goal for this. I'm excited. This is super easy to apply. It looks really pretty, and I'm happy that I added this into my project pan because this would have just languished around in my drawer, and now it's for sure going to get used up. The next lip item that I have is from Glossier. It is the cherrybalm.com, and I did use this 6 times in January, and as you can see, there's some decent progress here. So that top mark is where it was at the start of the year. The green one is where it is at the start of February. So again, this is going to be hanging around for a while, but it's nice just to see like some definitive progress on it. This is another one that looks really pretty, although it's very messy. It's red, and you have to like put it onto your finger and then put it on, so I don't love that. I wish that it had a kind of dispenser where I could just squirt it out and put it directly on my lips, but it doesn't. So again, that's fine. Not my favorite. I will be happy to use this up. I do think I should be able to get it done by the end of the year, but this one will probably be around for a while just based on the amount of usage I was able to get in the first month. Then I have a lip item that I did not use really at all in January. I used it 1 time. Here is what it was looking like at the start of the year. I just rolled it out, held it up next to a ruler. I did not do that again for this video because I've only used it 1 time, so there's gonna be like minimal change. here is where we are. As you can see, there's still quite a lot of product, but this is fairly easy to apply. However, it's a kind of darker shade than I personally would like from like a tinted lip balm. So it's not my favorite. That's why I put it in this project. I just want to kind of get it done, but it's kind of taken a backseat to that lip gloss from ColourPop because that one is the one I prefer. And I'm hoping that I can go ahead and get that one used up, and then I'll turn my attention a little bit more to this one. And the final lip product that I have is a lip liner. This is the Pillow Talk lip liner from Charlotte Tilbury. Here's where it was at the start of the year. Again, I just held it up against a ruler. And then here is where it is now. So a little bit of progress. I did sharpen this a handful of times, and I did use it a total of 12 times in the month. So I'm happy with the progress I was able to get from it. Obviously, this is going to be around for a while. I'm not sure how far down the lead goes, so I don't know how far down I will be able to sharpen, but I'm just going to keep working on it throughout the year, and hopefully this will be done by the end of 2024. Now I'm turning my attention towards eyeshadows. I do have two of them. The first is the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Frog. Here's what it was looking like at the start of the year. And then here's what it's looking like now. It does have pan, but this is such a movable product that I can actually make that pan quite big if I just move my finger around in there. So I'm not sure that that's really like a good indication of how much product is left, but I did use this a total of 9 times in January, and I did put it on today. I really like shimmery topper shades, so this one is perfect for that. It's very, very pretty. I'm looking forward to using this up before the texture changes and just getting a lot of love out of it this year. I feel like with February being Valentine's Day, I'm probably going to be doing some more pink eyeshadow looks, so this should get a bit more use during the month. And the other eyeshadow that I have in here is an Urban Decay single shadow. This is in the shade Foxy. I only used this 2 times because there is a shade in my Pan That palette that's very similar to this. So my goal is to finish that shade first and then turn my attention to this. So here's what we're looking like. There's no difference from when I took the pictures at the start of the year, so there's no new photo, but I only used this 2 times, so that's kind of to be expected. And the final 2 items are perfumes. Now, it took me almost the entire month of January to finish up a perfume that I'd carried over from my Project Pan in 2023. So these perfumes didn't get any use. I didn't use either of them in the month of January, but I have 2 perfumes, obviously, as I mentioned. This is the Coach Poppy perfume, and this one is called Kiss the Girl. It's part of Sephora's Disney collab with The Little Mermaid. This is quite old, not the new Little Mermaid. I'm throwing it back. So here's the Little Mermaid one. I did put that mark right there, but as you can see, it's still in the same place. And then the Poppy one I have used a couple of times in February, so it does have a tiny bit of use from where it was in January, but not enough to redraw a line. And that's it. That is my first Project Pan update for 2024. It's a little bit longer because I have so many items I'm working on, but I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. Hopefully I will have a couple more empties to share with you in the next update, so I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.